Are we good? Thank you. Ta-da, it works. Hello there. Thank you. So thank you for your patience, everybody. We are 15 minutes late, 19 minutes late. I know it's a sunny day outside, so I really appreciate everybody coming here because it's nice in the sun. So my name is Stuart Boucher. I am Technical Director, Technology Director, and Head of Data Analytics at Beacon. I've worked in digital and data science for over 25 years for brands amongst these. I've also worked with a number of digital agencies here in Leeds and elsewhere. Our development hub is here in Leeds, and it genuinely is a privilege for me. It's the first time I've presented in Leeds anything, so I'm really pleased to be doing this at Leeds Digital Festival. And just want to let you know as well that we are live streaming this tonight onto YouTube. None of you are going to be in it. It's all focused on me and the slides, but just so you're aware of that. Which leads us on to our totally scientific talk. So this is what we want to find out. Our objective here is to understand if and how visitors behave differently if they come from different channels. And specifically, we're looking at organic-based search traffic, which is mostly Google, obviously, versus two social media channels, which are Facebook and Twitter. And what we wanted to find out is, do search and social visitors behave differently on a website? I feel this is a pointer. I wanted to point at things, but it doesn't work. How does the type of social post you put out and what you say on a social post make a difference to engagement? And finally, sort of a big one, is how much difference does it make if you actually pay for a post? You pay to get it out to a wider audience. So what I'm going to run through today, in about 15 minutes, like I said, is confirm the scale of the task we face, talk a little bit about how we all use social media, as you've told us, explain the experiment we've carried out, the results we've got, and end with 5 takeaways, and then we'll do the little prize draw for anyone who entered the competition. Thank you very much. And then we're going to have a drink in the sunshine. And any questions you want, come and talk to me at the bar or in the sun, and that'll be fine. Right. So the struggle is real, and it is a real struggle. We all struggle to centralize, collect, report on data. And I will quote from this. A Harvard Business Review suggested that half of all firms that they surveyed struggled to find any true value out of social media. And yet, despite that, in the same survey, unlike Tim Martin's recent hissy fit, they said that social media was valuable to them, and they knew that it would be valuable and useful if they knew how to use it and knew how to report on it. So, how do we do that? And yet, despite that, we spent an absolute chunk of money with these social media networks. Google, 73.8 billion in 2017. A lot of that is search, admittedly. The same problems exist about reporting, about what's the value of it, but what are real clicks, what are not real clicks. Facebook, purely social, 36.3 billion. Twitter, 3.26 billion. In the UK alone, the ad spend in 2016 was 10 billion. You know, nice round number, but around that kind of number. So they're getting a lot of money from us and a lot of money from our clients. What we're looking at here is some key takeaways from a survey that we ran to everyone who signed up for this event. So thank you to everyone who did fill this out. And we'd like to believe that you did it because you like us to know data rather than because there's free beer in it. You can read it all. There's going to be a blog next week, end of next week, with a lot of this data in, and you can obviously get involved with that. Keep an eye on us on Twitter. But I'll pick out a couple of key things that are important here. So one is 61% of people in this room, 61%, is that me? Yeah. Yep, sorry. 61% of social media marketers use social media for building brand awareness and increasing, I'll just stand like this, is that okay? For increasing followers and reach. And 44%, this is the blue and the red here, don't really measure anything, or they keep track of changes in the follow count and reach. So they're not really getting a lot of value out of what they're doing. They're kind of putting stuff out there, not necessarily understanding what it's doing. Now, pretty impressive, if I'm honest with you, nearly 28% talk about analysing individual social posts and how much website traffic it generates. Now, I'd be very interested to see in a future survey is what happens once they know that it generates website traffic. What does it do on the website? That would be interesting. So I've spoken over the last 18 months to a lot of agency owners and staff who work in agencies and business owners across the UK, and consistently got the same story, that it's very difficult to report internally or to their clients on social media. You have to draw in from a lot of disparate channels, a lot of disparate reporting platforms, and they don't all give us what they want. And one of the things that I keep getting told, and I think this is generally true from my experience, is that vanity metrics are not enough. you might have a cool hairstyle out of it. I need some. But the point is, they're meaningless, really. Knowing the number of likes, shares, and impressions, reach, whatever the social network wants to call it, that you get is not enough if you're driving traffic through to a website. And if you're not driving traffic through to a website, why are you doing social media? There are very few applications where it purely is about a thing in and of itself. So we want, and we believe everybody should understand, what happens to traffic as a result of social media. Social platforms don't readily report on that. Certainly if you don't pay for traffic, you're not going to get any reporting about what happens on a website. And when you do pay for it, you have to trust what you're told. And I think we may all agree, anyone who disagrees is absolutely welcome to say so now, that social media networks aren't necessarily the most honest they can be at telling us what's going on. So, data science and big data doesn't have to be about deception. If used well, and this is something I firmly believe, it results in a richer, more valuable presence, more valuable content experience for users, people who want to find something, and the people supplying the something, whether that is business, consumer, B2C, B2C, doesn't matter. So, we're interested in, and we think that you should be interested in, looking at aggregated, anonymized data from big pools of data, the stuff you generate yourself without knowing who the individual is, but looking at behavioral patterns, looking at traffic, understanding the personas that engage with your website and how they do so. So, quick look at where visitors come from, and then we'll start looking at this experiment. Long way. So this is a graph, obviously, and thank you. If I'm honest with you, we looked at this and we were a little bit skeptical. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the green line is social traffic to website traffic as a result of social media posting. The blue graph is as a result of organic search, which we all know it's going to be 95%, if not more, Google. Now, you may well have seen similar patterns in your own traffic analysis, presumably you carry out. Perhaps not quite so wild, but this is 250,000 sites. These guys have got a good domain authority. 71, WordStream posted this, 79, Forbes picked all this up. So this is some real credible evidence. Two things are important. One is that social clearly has value of some form or another. The second thing is that 16, 17, people started losing faith in what it was actually about. Now, this isn't going to drop back down to zero. This is going to level out. And actually, as people find ways of understanding what social media means, it's going to go up again. So, important. So, let's now look at our experiment. So, what we did is we carried this experiment out on our Beacon platform. So, Beacon is built to allow us, our clients, to measure the success of any post, unpaid or unpaid, across multiple channels and websites within one platform. So, what we looked at, we took a snapshot of the social web activity through our platform over a 2-week period. So this is the stuff that's happening naturally. Our clients are posting and we're getting web data back, and we're obviously all anonymous. There's no identification of users in this stuff. We're just looking at what does that behave like. We then talked to a number of brands that we work with already and said, is it okay if we post some stuff out to your channel, please? Thank you very much. And by the way, some of it isn't necessarily going to be very good, because we want to know, do what we think isn't good, does it actually make a difference to what happens? Some of them were kind enough to say yes, but they said we weren't allowed to say who they were. And obviously there is no identifiable data in this, because we're not allowed to. It's not our data, it doesn't belong to us, it's our client's data. So we post organically to their Facebook and Twitter feeds. And then we ran that for a week, and we picked the winners, and we promoted the most effective posts for those brands by paying some of our own money to see what happens. So you got a good post, works well. If you pay more money, what happens with it? Okay? And then we analyze the results. So just a tiny little bit, apologies, about how we measure this. Now, everybody looks at likes, shares, follows. We talked about all that stuff before. But what we're genuinely interested in is... Hello? Is that the Duke Street ghost? Okay, it's the ice maker. Oh, it's the ice maker. Oh, we need that. So what we're interested in is visitor action. So someone lands on a website, brilliant. What do? How long do they spend on the first page? Do they hard bounce? Hard bounce. Someone comes from a social post or a search result, they hit your page, and the first thing they see is not what they expected to see, so they leave. That's what we call a hard bounce. Google brings these two things together, hard and soft bounce, and they're very, very flaky about how they report on this stuff. Soft bounce is someone's on your page and they engage with that page, they don't go anywhere else. Now, that happens a lot with blogs. We know that. You know, difficulty with blogs is how do you signpost people onwards? Another challenge. Do they scroll up and down the page? Do they scroll to the bottom? How long do they spend reading? What's their movement like around a site, around a page? What other pages do they go to? Do they come back? These are the kind of things that we're very interested in understanding, because that gives us, we firmly believe, and actually the evidence we have says this, that the right kind of social post with the right kind of content on a website gets better engagement and actually improves a bottom line. Well, how do you define a bottom line? It improves the bottom line. So I've completely gone off-piste on my notes here, but I think I've covered everything. So what we're looking at here is a set of graphs, and I apologise that it's all together because it's not intention today to sit down and go through every single item is, but what I want to do is pick out some of the highlights. We'll be going to this in more detail in the blog that we release at the end of next week. So again, follow us on Twitter for that. So I'm going to answer the question, put my glasses back on, and re-ask the questions that we asked at the beginning. So, do visitors from social posts behave differently from visitors from search? Well, the answer is yes, they do. The slightly more nuanced answer is maybe not as much as maybe you might think, but there is a difference. And that difference, if you use it well, can result in a significant change in bottom line in behavior. So, search sends more traffic than visitors social, obviously. We all probably know that. But social tends to send traffic that is a bit more engaged. They spend a longer time on site, excuse me, and they're more likely to click onto other pages. Now, the caveat to that is that if someone comes through from search, they're more likely to hard bounce. They're more likely to see whatever it is was on Google or Bing, can you believe, and go no and move. But if they stay and they go beyond the first page, then they're more likely to do more stuff. But what won't happen is they won't tend to come back. They do come back, but they don't tend to come back. Visitors on social tend to engage with you many more times. The more stuff you put out, the more they come back. That's an interesting one. Turning visitors more likely to come from social. Second question. How does the type of social post affect the level of engagement when they visit a website? Now, generally, and hopefully this isn't a surprise, we found that our good posts, the ones we thought were good, you know, they were quality posts, they had, you know, they linked to a relevant page, they had a nice image or they had a nice video, whatever is relevant to them, they had a higher average time on site. They looked at more pages, they're less likely to bounce, so good. Shorter posts, definitely, I think quite categorically, fared better than verbose ones. Obviously on Twitter we're limited to 280 now. 280? Tell me that's right. And obviously you've got a lot more on Facebook, a lot more on LinkedIn, but nonetheless, wherever you were, the shorter the post was, above a certain level obviously, the more likely it was that people would actually go, okay, well, this is something I'm interested in, and click through and engage. Hashtags, not hugely applicable necessarily on Facebook, but on Twitter particularly, there's no doubt if you're looking for a way to increase reach and click-throughs, hashtags are a great way to do it, but they don't necessarily lead to good website engagement. And the final question we had here was, is there any difference in visitor behavior between organic and paid social posts? And actually, yes, there is. It's more rubbish. So promoted posts, no doubt about it, performed massively better on the social network itself. You got lots more likes, you got lots more comment shares, whatever it might be. Usually likes, to be fair, or whatever the equivalent of a like is. And you would get some website traffic, but it generally wasn't any better than the website traffic that you got by just doing it organically. And actually, often, it was worse. So it also masked behavior. So, I mean, this is a particular example, and obviously we can't put the client up here, but this one here, 135 likes. It's clearly a promoted post. You can see from the profile of the traffic. And that's another thing, actually. Promoted posts do that. Social posts, I don't think we've got any on here, actually. The social posts will do that, and then they'll do that, and then they'll do that, and actually good ones have long tails. We've seen traffic for clients, we've seen traffic for ourselves, actually, where we're getting traffic back. We're getting good, engaged, quality traffic that results in people identifying themselves, i.e. filling out a form, downloading something, telling us something about themselves, wanting to buy something from us or our clients months afterwards. They keep repeating into people's, people's awareness. So the point is it masks it. You know, that looks brilliant. 135 likes, fantastic. I got lost. 2 visits to the website. 2 visits to the website. Now, fair enough, 13.5 seconds on average on the site. So one of them went and looked at 2 pages. I mean, I know from the background to the data, I know that neither of those actually came back. And nothing's come out of them. So is that worth paying for? I would argue not. I also happen to know that the particular channel that was, that we put that on, told us we got a lot more visits than we did. Topic of another conversation, don't quote me on it. So, two other things to pick up from the data, which again we'll be going into more detail, much more detail than this could allow. Hopefully this is clear. Lots of likes do not equal lots of website visits. Contrarize to that, as Alice said. Quite often we saw posts, and we see posts all the time, where you get no likes, you get no shares, you get no comments, and you look at the impressions and they're blooming awful. But actually they drive traffic. And they often drive quite good traffic. And if you think about it, that's fairly obvious. How many times you look at something and go, oh, that's really interesting, like, move on. Or you look at something and go, I really want to read that, and you click through and read that, and you don't go back and like it. You've already engaged, and that happens a lot. So it's important. So 5 key takeaways. Got to remember which part I'm going on. How are we doing on time? Oh, right, well, it's at the end of my time apparently, but forget it. Carry on. We're all having fun. Right, so look beyond likes and shares. I think I've said that enough. It's great to tell your client and boss what's like, look how many likes we've got. I think we've hopefully moved beyond that. Even for brand accounts, website traffic engagement has value. Even the small numbers count. And this is relevant. I mean, we deal with some bigger companies. We deal with quite a lot of smaller companies. And even if you haven't got a lot of followers, even if you haven't got a huge amount of traffic, if you can make a difference by understanding how that traffic works, then it does make a difference to bottom line. We've seen it with people we work with. So your 5%, 10% difference, significant changes. This is sort of a two-pointed one. Pay for your traffic, by all means, understand what it is, but value your organic visitors. Your organic visitors they're your champions. You know, they've taken the time, you haven't bought them, that is, they've taken the time to become involved with you. Think about it, they've seen some of your stuff, they've liked it, they've gone back and liked you. And they're more likely to engage with you and come back and get repeat engaged. Now, some of those aren't ever going to buy from you, but they might tell people, they might reshare. You've got to think about how it works. And we see repeat visitors are always organic. That's where they come from. And so the second part of this is you can't buy love, unfortunately. No, that's not unfortunate, that's terrible, isn't it? Know the limits of promoted social posts. If you want to use them to get yourself a lot of likes and look like you're doing something, they work. Be skeptical about what you're being told about the number of visitors you get. Have a platform, I can think of one, that would tell you what actually happens with those visitors. Our suspicion, my suspicion, is that you can use promoted posts well, and you can use them in very specific instances, and we'll be doing more investigation around that as we go forward, and we'll share that on our Twitter account. But for general posting, not that effective. And finally, good content is good content, and we consistently find this. We found it in this, and we find it in everything else we do. However busy to find you, if you've got good quality content, they're far more likely to stay, so focus around that first. And I know that's a difficult one. This is the big challenge is always content. So, what we're doing now. Oh yeah, so here's our plug. Apologies, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but this is possible because of Beacon. I came from an agency background, we were reporting to clients, it just didn't work out. We thought, let's create something that works, because my background is software. I thought, let's create a software platform that works, okay? So, Beacon is built to allow clients to measure the success of any post, paid or unpaid, any social channel, on a website. And we believe in rapid time to value. So we believe in, you get these findings, you hopefully recognize this tweet, some of you will engage with it. You get reports back straight away. So you know within moments what's happening with it. You know what's happening, what website's trafficking of it. And that's value, that's important, because then you can do more of what works and less of what doesn't work quickly. So, change it on here, I didn't change it on there. Time for some drinks. So I'm going to get the sorting hat, which hopefully some of the people who filled out the survey are in this room. And the very scientific mechanism of pulling out 2 folded names from my hat. If you're here, say so, otherwise you lose your drinks. Or pretend to be the person who it is. So, the first person drawn out is Dawn Woolley. There's £25 worth of free drinks behind the bar for you. Congratulations. And drinks are on, I think, Dawn. So, we're good. And the second one, there is 2, which are very generous. Ready? Can we have a drum roll? Come on. Jodie Craddock. Okay. She's my colleague. She's missed out. Sorry. That's the way it has to be. The rules are the rules. We apply them without mercy. So, someone upside down. Oh, this is good. Not an Webster E.H. They're in a line. Come on. A round of applause for our drinks winners. Thank you. And listen, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for spending time with me in this sweaty room, because it is horrible. If you want to ask questions, come and ask me at the bar. If you'd like to challenge me on the data, please do. Happy to do that. If you'd like to know more about our platform, definitely come and talk to us. But engage with us on social media, because we are going to be putting out more from this and more research as we go forward. So thank you.